Welcome back to Bourbon Barrel Talk. I'm your host, Scott Minton. Today we are sitting in the Den of Thieves again with Mr. John Ernstberger. What's up, John?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm so glad you're here, Scott.
Yeah, that's what
one of
everybody
the fellow
says.
thieves now.
One of the thieves. All right, I'll take it. You know, I always said that we should name a bourbon label something about thieves.
Maybe for this one, it could be the Three Thieves.
Yeah,
And Scott.
the Three Thieves and Scott. There you go. Are y'all crossing thieves?
Oh, God, I hope not.
No.
I mean, you are brothers, right?
That's a whole nother Western Kentucky thing right there.
We draw a
I think
line
it's
somewhere.
Eastern Kentucky. I think it's Western Kentucky.
Eastern, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
There's no hills in the western part of Kentucky there, John?
There are hills here, just not as,
Prominent.
incestuous.
Other than the giant knobs that sits right next to us.
Yeah.
And the Knobstone Trail. What a great name, Knobstone.
What did I call us the other couple weeks? The knobbers. Yeah.
The Knobbers.
I was trying to figure out a way to describe people from the knobs, so I said knobbers, and I got a bunch of shit for that.
I don't remember you hearing. I don't remember
You weren't
hearing
around.
you say that.
Yeah, you weren't.
You might not.
That
have been.
explains why I don't remember hearing you say that.
Scott, what are we drinking right now?
So this is something that I brought in from it's from one of my favorite little independent bottlers. It's called Single Cask Nation. So if you don't know these guys, it's John and Josh, John Yellowstone and Josh Hatton. They're two dudes. They do a little podcast too. It does some different things, but anyway, this is a 12-year-old Indiana light whiskey. It was distilled in 2006 and it was bottled in 2019. It was a small batch bottle type thing, even though they called it a single cask. There's 432 bottles of this, so I was able to get 3 of these, and this is the last one. So I wanted to make sure that I brought something that I enjoyed. That
This is amazing.
So
Thank you. The Den of Thieves is forever in your debt.
So this was very, very popular because it was just something different and unique. Like, they do a lot of whiskeys and they do a lot of scotches, but they'd never done an Indiana light whiskey. Now I will say that this was one of the weird ones that it had such a low entry proof. Like, whenever they said they thought they heard that this one went in at 95 proof or something.
Wow.
super, super low, but it still picked up because I think it sits at 104 or 108, something like that. Yeah, 108.1. So it went in at a low entry point, but it picked up a ton because it was like a tier 6 in the MGP warehouse. So something definitely unique, something different. So I wanted to bring this, let you guys try it. One of my other favorite things about this thing is the glass cork, which you were
Oh, it blew my mind.
pulling on it,
Oh, man.
tugging, and I'm sitting there oh, that's real easy. but I've learned the trick behind opening one of these bottles, so I always laugh about it. But I hand it to people, and everybody does the same thing that you do.
No, I felt the struggle was like a hoe on a first date. I couldn't get the suction off.
It's like prom night everywhere but in. So, but couldn't get in the bottle. But yeah, it's great.
For people like myself who don't know what is a light whiskey.
So a light whiskey it's basically, it can go in the barrel at any proof, but it's just not going in a charred new oak barrel, basically, is what it boiled down to. So entry proof, they can play with entry proof a lot more with light whiskey as well. So, I mean, they could go in at 160 if they wanted to. They could go in at 90. They could go in at 80. They can do whatever they want with whiskey, for one, because it's not going into that, and then for two, there's no distinction for the law for bourbon. So that's the big difference with how whiskey works versus freedom
freedom
stuff.
for that one.
That's such a unique.
And one we're going to try after this is a Canadian whiskey, and this one went in the barrel at 140, and it hits way different. So it's
I was about to say, this doesn't even taste or drink like a 108.
no,
It drinks like a 90 to me.
Yeah, it drinks super, super light. It's super refreshing. To me, this is a summer whiskey. That's one of the reasons. Other reasons I brought this one is it's got some nice citrus notes. It's got some hints of other things. It's got some bright fruit.
You get a bunch of chocolate on it.
Yeah, you get a little bit of for me, it's almost like a Toblerone, not Toblerone, the Terry's chocolates, the chocolate oranges.
Yeah,
you get a little bit of
I could see
that mid almost semi-sweet chocolate and a little bit of citrus. It just gives you so many unique things to go with this bad boy.
It's very pleasant on the nose and the taste. Cheers.
Cheers for sure. But yeah, it's just so refreshing. It's just one of my favorite pours, especially during the summer. And like I said, just wanted to bring something a little bit different for you guys to try, because not many of these things are around. I mean, they release these nationwide, and there's 400 of them. So and I was lucky enough to get 3. So
I'm about to say I've never seen them before.
How long ago did you get those?
2019. So yeah, I've got 2 of their Wild Turkey releases. Like they're one of the only independent bottlers that have actually been able to call their bottles Wild Turkey, even though it was made by Wild Turkey and it was a source product. Those go for stupid money. I've opened one and killed one, and the other 2 are just kind of sitting there, and I'm just like, do I open them? Do I not open them?
That's always the dilemma with that.
Yeah, the question of every bourbon drinker.
And they will eventually be open because they've got a very, very strict policy about selling their bottles. If they catch you, like you're cut off, you're no longer on the list. Like
wow.
Yeah. So Josh and them, but I love that about them. One of my favorite ones that they did recently, they did a 27-year-old Heaven Hill pre-fire release, which, oh my God, talking about special. I mean, that bottle was absolutely delicious. So they do a lot of really, really unique things. I'm not a big Scotch drinker, so I miss out on a lot of their picks because they love Scotch. And I tell them, hey, I appreciate the fact y'all like Scotch and Lafroig and all that stuff, but just not my cup of tea, And I had them on the podcast a long, long time ago, and that was one of my favorite things. Was we were able to go tit for tat on different things, and they sent me a few samples of some scotches, and they're like, "What do you think about that one?" And I drank. I was like, like, and the worst part is like we're doing it via Zoom because they're both, one of them lives in Connecticut, the other one lives in Maryland, and like I'll take a sip, and I'm like.
Can't hide your facial reactions to it on the Zoom call.
You can't lie and be like, "Oh, that's delicious," But,
Pause the Zoom call real quick.
yeah. So, but they were real troopers about the whole thing. So, but that's definitely one I wanted to try out there. So
that's one of the things I love about the bourbon community is when it's good, it's about sharing, it's about discovering new things together. You get that sense of camaraderie, and I really like that.
Well, that's my favorite thing to do is when people are like, oh, like new bourbon comes out or like something that's kind of like relatively, not like relatively cheap, but like, 30, 40, $50. I'm like,
that is real cheap.
Try that. Well, yeah.
Nowadays,
especially these days.
Yeah, these days, 30, 40, $50. You're like, well, all day long.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to find like those ones that are like around that price range and that are like people aren't really looking for, hardcore for, and stuff like that, and just try them out, and something that's easy to find and tastes pretty damn good for the price.
And then save up for something really special that comes along.
100%.
Right. Yeah. No, 100% with you there on that one. So,
this one is super, like, smooth.
Yeah, it is super smooth. But
so I tried it without water and with the water.
Yep.
I definitely prefer this without water.
Oh, yeah, 100%. This is a neat pour. You notice I didn't even go to the water.
Yeah. And I now understand why.
But I've had a lot more of it than you have, obviously.
When did you crack that bottle, Scott?
Oh, God. So this was the third of 3. This one was probably cracked September-ish of 2021. So, I mean, I've milked this one a lot more than I did the first 2.
So the first 2 are gone. This is what's
the
left.
first one was gone. Like, literally, there were 6 of us, and it was gone in one night. Like, just gone. And I was like... And it was at a bad time because we had drank so much after it. I didn't really remember it. So like about 4 or 5 days later, I opened the second one and I drank it. And then I got about maybe 4 ounces into it. And I'm like, I'm going to shut myself off. So I didn't drink it for about 6 months. And then I had another tasting where a group of guys were like, hey, bring something unique, something we've not seen. And, and I'm like, everybody, when you think of MGP, you think of 36, you think of the 21, you think of the 95.5 rye. What's now becoming the high 52, the 52% rye. So those are the ones you think about, right? You don't think about their light whiskey, even though they've got amazing light whiskeys up there. So that's why I always take this one to people. It just gives them a little bit of a different sampling that MGP does so many different variances. And
I'll say I don't think I've ever had any of their whiskey before besides the ryes.
Right. But yeah, they do a ton of different things up there. I mean, I think they have somewhere around 21 different distinct mash bills that they're running at any given time. So it's pretty crazy when you sit back and think about it.
I'm trying to do what you did on a previous episode where there is no bourbon in the glass, but I'm just picking up different things in the empty glass. And I really like that new technique. I really appreciate you giving me more depth for my bourbon drinking.
It's just something different, And I'll have to do that. I haven't done that to this one in a while. This is one that I do like to go back and smell quite a bit. It is a smeller for me, but there's certain bourbons that I really just love nosing. Like I can sit back and just nose it all day long. I love it.
What are some that stand out in your mind?
The embryonic cask, like I just
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
the
Those are
Starlight, the
amazing.
embryonic cask are outstanding.
That first batch.
The first couple of VDNs, the VDN Rise were really good on the Starlight side. I love nosing those things to death, but I love those citrus notes that come through on those. Of the other stuff, like a lot of Four Roses, like OBSO or OESO, I love nosing those. They have fantastic noses on those. Man, there's just so many. I mean, they're probably the most memorable bottle is a Four Roses, and it's a Rose Banger. It's a store pick.
Appropriate name.
Yeah, but I can't remember. Is it from American? What something American or some, I don't remember.
I have no
it's
idea.
it's some blonde actress that's on the bottle, and I can't remember right now. But it's just
Is it from American Pie?
no, it's not
There's
from
a lot
American
of blonde
Pie. American
actresses.
Beauty, maybe.
Oh,
Okay,
Mina Savari.
Yeah, something like that. But there's some chick that's on there that's an actress, and I but it's just called Rose Banger, and it might no actually it's Titanic. It's Kate Winslet maybe on that bottle.
Oh, okay.
But anyway,
Oh, Rose, because
Banger,
the character in
Liz
the
Rose, yeah.
Okay.
That's who it is. It
She's
is.
never seen it.
That makes
She-
a lot more
I was
sense.
trying to think of who it was, but I knew it was one of those. But it was a play on a movie or something. But that's what it is. I think it was Rose from Titanic. But
Sidebar: you've never seen that, Jared?
No, never seen Titanic. Not yet.
Carl's
You're
got a
not-
weird look on his face. What's
You're
up?
not,
Mike?
missing, you're not missing much.
I mean, that's what I'm not gonna lie.
me.
That's what I hear a lot.
Everybody
I've also-
lived. Don't worry, it's a very happy story.
That's right.
Although Rose killed Jack, there's actually sorry,
Kills-
my mind goes off. There's a sidebar. There's an interview with
Kills her
Leonardo
back front.
DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, and who played Harley Quinn.
Margot.
Oh,
Margot Robbie.
Okay.
They were promoting the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
And they were talking about the Titanic scene when Leonardo DiCaprio's Jack is in the
Yeah.
water and dies because there's not enough room on the door. And Brad Pitt just looks at him and is like, was there enough room on the door for you? And Leonardo DiCaprio says, I'm not going to talk about it.
That's the only thing I know from that movie.
He
is
could have
that
lived.
There was enough room for the door. At least that's what everybody says. So I
Oh,
also,
there was plenty of room on that door.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I have not. And this is one I want to see, but I have not seen Pulp Fiction yet. So when you were going off earlier,
Oh my God, how
but
have you not seen? What are you,
Dude,
6
I'm
years
I was
old?
sorry.
born in '96, man. What do you
Oh my
expect
God,
from
you
me?
are 6 years old. Jeez,
100%.
nice.
Dude, how many times I got to call myself a toddler today? At work today, I called myself
got
a
married
toddler.
when you were born.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I've literally been married that long. I got married in '96.
Story of my life is right there. Is that whole interaction right there?
Yeah, that's a dynamic and a half right there, man. 96. Jeez, you're barely old enough to drink.
Pulp Fiction is one of those movies you
Fucking
must,
exactly.
must see.
I
That's
know.
a great movie to smoke a cigar and drink a bourbon to.
Smoking cigarettes
I think you
and
could-
watching Captain
Kangaroo,
Kangaroo. So
don't
don't tell me.
tell me.
Don't. There's nothing to do. That's a great thing. So
That's a lovely nose.
I'm just going to throw myself out there and say, way too young to know what the hell that reference was.
it's from Pulp Fiction.
So there we go.
There we go.
Inside, I didn't get it.
I'm
So-
sorry for the whole world that he doesn't know what Pulp Fiction is.
So this is a Jay
sorry,
Mattingly's
Jim.
pick that we did for a buddy of ours' birthday. Actually, it's Matt Jasnoff from the show. But this is 140.4 proof. It's Kentucky straight bourbon.
Totally different from the last one. I mean,
Well, we jumped, what,
It's a
33
single barrel.
points?
Oh, dude, you jumped quite a bit up.
well, I'm not even talking about just proof, but just the way it
nose.
smells
The
and
nose
everything.
is
It smells
so
totally different.
Nose is
robust.
amazing.
Yeah, dude, it's caramel tobacco.
Gosh,
I mean, it's got a little bit of leather. It's got some really, really heavy, like what I would consider like a stone fruit, like a plum or some dark, robust fruit. You might get it plum. Some people might get maybe some fig.
I have never had this bourbon before in my life, and I've not tasted it yet, but it is just...
So if I had to guess, it's probably
Impressive.
Barton. That would be what I would guess
Yeah.
it is. It's 15 years old, so...
It's got the funniest looking top on.
Well, it's a waxed. It was waxed all the way down to here. And I tore it off. I got real pissed off one night. I was trying to get into it again, and I was like, "You son of a!" I was tearing shit apart. My wife's like, "What are you doing down there?" Like throwing stuff against the wall, trying to find a knife to cut it off. And
Oh, wow.
Well, you could have been like this Joker that at Maker's Mark when he's
Oh, it's a full dunk.
bottling, waxing,
Yeah.
full dunk, just gets
Full
it all
dunk.
over his hand, burns the shit out of
This
himself.
is why you don't let people who have just come off the tasting dip their freaking bottle in the wax. Because
that's the best part about it, man.
I mean, I agree, but from a maker's perspective, stupid idea.
Somehow, Jared
But it was
fucked
so
up.
much fun. It was so much fun.
And see, this is why we can't have nice things because Jared screws shit up.
the lady, I swear to God, looked at me and goes, "Oh my God!" It was hilarious.
Oh, there is photos of
His
that.
fingers come out the red.
Oh no, I got wax on the glove. 100%.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, that's how bad it was. I wish I don't know.
We
if I still
all
have that
just
bottle
did
or
the
not.
walk of shame for him.
I think you
and
still have
just
that bottle
completely turned
somewhere.
The other way.
I think it's out in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally pours off the side.
Because that was the
Oh,
day
it was bad.
That was the day that me and your mom got to dip our these were the
the ambassadors.
ambassador bottles.
Gotcha. So have you ever done the bottle shares where you buy like a piece of a cask and you get a bottle of it at the end, like
No,
after
I
it
didn't know
ages
that was
for
a
like
thing.
6 or 7?
No,
Yeah, you,
that is a thing.
yeah, you can go to Makers and you can buy like a barrel that's being distilled that day. Like you can buy a share into it. You give them like $60 or $80 or whatever it is. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've done one. And then they'll call you when the barrel's ready and it's being capped, and then you go pick up your bottles. So
That's cool.
So I now know what I need to do.
The three of us need to go in on it again.
Yeah.
So
60. Wow, 3 of us need to go in on one.
The
Yeah.
three thieves.
It's $80. I'll just buy my own bottle.
yeah, and I can't remember how much it is. Maybe it's more than that. Because I did it a long time ago when they first
Yeah,
started
yeah.
doing it. But I know multiple people that go there for like special occasions now. Like, I went on my anniversary, so now I have an anniversary bottle, and different things like that. So it gives you a little bit of a flair for what's going on there.
This really doesn't drink like a 140 plus.
No, none of the stuff I'm going to give you is going to drink at proof. Which one of the reasons why I brought
I
these
love
is
this.
because when people are like, "Oh, hazmat, like how do you drink that?" or "How do you drink this?" and I'm like, you have to find what fits your palate, and you have to find something that goes with what you like and the tastings
Yeah.
that you're looking for. And you can buy shit that's hot as hell. I mean, you can buy stuff that's 110 proof and it's hot. I mean, it tastes hot, it drinks hot. But you can also find some really, really nice things that have been aged well and that have done a lot of different, things in the barrel that come off like this. 140.4 is, that's a hot whiskey. I mean, so it should drink hot, but it doesn't. It drinks closer to probably 115, 110.
Knob Creek's
Yeah.
like that.
And that's the thing. So I've had some Knob Creeks that are 120s, and I'm like, whoa, like that bit my head off. And then I've had some that I've drank, and I was like, it was like maybe 90 proof. Like I just was shocked.
Yeah, I love Knob Creek, but yeah, sometimes I take a sip and I'm like, oh my God, like I cannot drink anymore. I gotta not pour it out, but I gotta throw some ice on this thing. and
I've
let
got a
it chill
12-year
out.
Knob Creek over there that's pretty spicy. This Mattingly,
got-
even the color is robust. Like that is the word I would describe this bourbon to be.
Yeah. No.
It's definitely got legs to it. I mean,
No, dude,
it
it's
holds
got
to the
tons of legs.
glass.
But
I didn't say viscosity. Because I can't.
That's true. Well, so you said legs, and immediately being the fan of the show makes me think of.
and I said it in the last
can't think of
episode
what
just to
his
be
name
funny.
is.
Toby and Viscosy.
Yeah.
Well, no, the legs portion makes me
legs?
think of.
Nick.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Nick likes the legs. Nick always talking about the legs.
That's what made me think of.
So
It's delicious.
Oh,
though.
this is a wonderful bottle.
It's yeah.
it definitely hits different. It's one of my, like I said, it's just one that I've just always really enjoyed, and I dive in on it and try it, and it has not disappointed me yet.
You take a sip of it, and it's like it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't drink hot. But when it's in your mouth, and it's like
It's a flavor bomb.
Bam!
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like rye
It
and
lights
leather, and like you get all those things. It just definitely hits definitely different. And,
I get
and,
some caramel in the end palate of
Yep,
it.
a little bit of caramel, some sweetness. I
And
get
even-
I get a lot of vanilla up front, like that boozy
Yeah.
vanilla flavor.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And once it leaves your mouth, and it's just you're just left with that effervescence. It's just very nice.
Yep.
Oh,
Yes, that's a fucking word, Jared.
Look at John. Look at John getting
Thank
fancy.
you.
He's using $5
No.
words. Effervescence.
the reason I gave
Is this
That
an
is-
Alka-Seltzer
that is-
commercial?
That is who I am to a T. I don't have to say much, but when I do, I come out swinging
right,
with
he comes out
words.
swinging.
Evanescence. That's what I was thinking.
I
of,
don't-
the band.
He's the most interesting man in the world. I don't always drink bourbon, but when I do, I use large words. Effervescence.
I sound smart to get a date.
No, so the reason I gave that look is because which nobody on the podcast, or nobody listening to this can see, but is because it made me think of some. Whenever you're just nosing something that's super hot, like it's like you take a little bit of a sniff and it like lights the nose up.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go about like nosing that and getting anything out of it? Because from my perspective, and maybe from a lot of other people's perspective, I know that I can't get anything outside of, oh my God, like the inside of my nose is burning, like I just ate horseradish.
So I think in those situations you got to go away from it and then go back to it,
let it
because a
air
lot
out.
of times what happens is that initial aeration that goes through your nose, it almost like singes the hairs in your nose, right?
Yeah.
So then I go in and I do the sniff. So I go to the elbow and I get I cleanse my palate with my skin, and people will tell you like that's crazy, but I do it. Like, I mean, literally just smell any part of your arm or your skin, and then go back to smelling. It totally cleanses your nose palate.
It does. 100%. I'm not bullshitting. Like that 100% did. Like I
Yeah.
just did it. And it not like that whenever I thought of it, it wasn't lighting my nose up, but it was starting to get to that where it was getting that afterburner stage where it's like outside of, or the inside of my nose is kind of getting a little
Yep.
Like the
heat.
back part of your nose.
Yeah.
But
So take a break and then come back to it and
Yep.
enjoy it.
Yeah, you just come back to it. So that way, it literally, once you get that, the second one's never going to be as hot as the first one, and usually the third one's not as hot as the second one. It's just like anything. It's just, and that's why I say you got to work your way up to high proof whiskey. You know, you can't drink any, and I mean whiskey as in bourbon whiskey, whatever you're drinking, because like the next one we're going to try is going to be a Canadian whiskey, and it's 27 years old. So like you don't see a 27-year-old whiskey every day, but it's coming in at 155 proof. So I mean it's like burning, like it's hot, like you.
Yeah.
And in the nose will give you a little bit of that boozy hot up front, but then you'll just get that nice, just round, well sweet noses, and you're like, oh my God, that's just crazy. And you'll see when we get to it. But this is one, like I said, I've always enjoyed this one. I've come back to it multiple times and thought it would be a special treat. You guys probably
this
never
is
seen
a
it.
wonderful.
This is
bottle.
great.
That's all I can
How do you like? Where did you find this at? Oh, you said it was a.
It was a birthday pick. Yeah, I was one of
Yeah,
a friend
yeah.
of ours that he had a birthday party. His dad basically bought half the barrel, and that's what it was. So everybody
Yeah.
walked away with a bottle or two and had a good time.
Do you ever see it out and about? Like
No,
liquor
it's
barn or
it's
anything?
strictly
Strictly picks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
J Mattingly's, you can either go and blend your own bottle, like barrels and billets, or you can do a barrel pick, and you go through their warehouse, you find one you like, you pick it, you buy it, and get out. But because all those barrels have been blended, you might get only half a barrel, and it's been aging sometimes in those situations for a year as a half a barrel. So the flavors change, everything goes different.
Mm-hmm.
They got a really bad name because at one time they were using food grade trash cans to move the liquor from the barrel into the thing. So everybody was like, oh, that's trash can bourbon, or that's trash this. But the dudes out there are super cool. They're super nice. I went out and met them on a tasting event, and then this event as well, and just super laid back guys. But they just caught a bad rap because of but it was food grade, but people get oh, you put your shit in a trash can, I mean, like, who gives a shit, right? If it's clean and you're doing things in the right environment, it shouldn't be an issue. So
There's not going to be much difference between a stainless steel trash can and a stainless steel drum. There's really not.
yeah, there isn't. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So
The amount of baking spices, or I won't say baking spices, but just spices in general, when I took that last sip, is insane. I thought.
So
It's so good, though.
especially knows it after you've rinsed your glass out. Like, this is another one that, like, crazy tobacco. Like, it's
Yeah.
just
Oh,
straight
yeah.
up grandpa's cherry pipe tobacco. Like, it's just
Smells
insane.
like my humidor.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It's
But
just,
it's still so sweet.
I know.
It's just got that nice honey almost.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it.
almost like a toffee. Yeah, toffee or honey. Yeah, I get that. But it's just crazy when you sit back and you nose a glass after a while and you get those things. But
100%. I get that honey nose. Maybe it's just because you just said it, but I get the honey 100%. Like you said.
influenced by John.
Oh, 100%.
The puppet master at work.
Damn straight.
Shit! All right, somebody want part of this pour?
I
I'll
got
take-
strings.
I hope you are,
that
brother.
hold me
I
down.
got bills.
But
I got bills to pay.
well, like sweetness on bourbon is weird because when I first got into bourbon, I definitely got the caramel notes immediately. Like that's what my tongue would taste. That's what my nose.
Are you trying to kill yourself over there, man?
That ain't that much. It's really not.
Carl's like a Civil War general that doesn't
Carl's
give
like-
a fuck anymore. And he's just like, oh, there's a battalion over
He's
the
like,
hill.
I'm going balls deep in this one, fellas. I'm going for it.
Like how you said Civil War general, and he's the guy that actually does like reenactments for wars and stuff like that.
I used
That
to.
was spot
I haven't
on
did
as
that in a
shit.
while.
That's
so.
why I said it, Jared.
No, it's not. You have
that
it
is-
straight out of your ass, right?
Straight truth.
Listeners, please don't listen to what John says. Full of shit.
But I don't get the caramel in a lot of bourbons anymore, and I don't know if that's just because my palate's changing or whatever. I'm getting a lot more honeys, a lot more vanillas instead of caramel notes on
And
things.
you're going as balls deep as I am on this one.
Okay,
Can you
As
two
like-
stop saying balls deep for fuck's sake?
head John balls deep.
deep.
As thank you,
Do you
Scott.
see what it's like being in the family with these two jokers?
Listen,
Scott.
I'm 20 something.
He was technically in the family first.
I've had too much whiskey to know my age, but you expect me to be mature in this?
Yeah.
Oh, this got like a very sweet note right off the nose.
Yeah, it's vanilla, a little bit of toffee. I get a little bit of like maple syrup too, almost like
Yeah.
pancakes.
Ooh, yes.
This is just
It smells like that. The crew I have over at Jeff and Susan's.
Which one?
Oh,
The
the,
maple-
cask and crew.
Yeah, Cask
Oh,
and Crew
Cask and Crew,
maple,
yeah.
Yeah.
maple and walnut. I think.
Walnut, yeah.
yep.
And that is straight maple syrup.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever wanted to put whiskey and maple syrup together, that's exactly what it
Oh,
tastes
yeah,
like.
that
But
is-
look at this one. I mean, just literally just hangs all over the glass. I mean, it just like for days. I mean, look at it. It's
wow.
still just it's like drizzly, oily, greasy. Like
Yeah.
It's almost like
stick
syrup.
to that.
it's almost like syrup.
That
Oh,
is something.
shit.
Interesting.
I saw that.
Little splash.
Scott just flinging whiskey all over the
I
place.
was. I flung a little out of the top there. I got a little loosey
Sorry,
goosey
it's on my dining room
twirl.
table. At 3 a.m, I'll just come out and head
John's
plant
like
the
Lick
table.
it off.
He's over here licking it off.
I would.
Your wife comes out and is like, "What are you doing?"
John, why are you licking the table?
She doesn't even need to speak. She'll just look at me like I'm a fucking idiot and then go back,
Go back
to
to
sleep.
bed.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's all of our wives.
She's a veterinarian and I make drinks.
She's a
so-
veterinarian.
She is, yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. She went to Purdue for 4 years and then we lived in Indy for 4 while she practiced.
Good Lord, Purdue.
Well, so what's funny
Call
about
her
this,
slide.
we were going to be going to Knoxville, Tennessee because that's where she was accepted into.
That was Auburn.
Oh no, she
Oh, it was
went to
Tennessee.
Auburn. She was accepted in Knoxville, and then a month before school start, Purdue called. And of course, in-state tuition, you can't really make up the difference.
No, you can't.
So we decided to go to Purdue, and we had to change all of our plans, and it was
Unless you have
great
a
because she did well.
stupid.
Oh my god! Well, I mean, I think we would have preferred to live in Knoxville because it's just such a beautiful, vibrant city.
I would go to Auburn.
But Auburn, really?
I love Auburn.
I've never
do.
Well, that was the road
Auburn
trip
and
from
Georgia.
hell.
Both those campuses are really nice.
We drove down from
Knoxville is
Louisville
nice, though.
on our way to Auburn, and
Purdue's a
my
shithole.
my car.
It is.
Purdue is an absolute.
The only
shithole.
thing I remember from her being at vet school was that there was construction 24 fucking
Oh,
7.
yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you didn't go to Cincinnati when I was up there, so
Especially
No.
on campus.
There was nothing but
But hey,
construction.
you know, Guy Fieri went to the XXX little diner.
diners,
there.
drives.
Yes, diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Yeah.
He was there.
Do they have strippers? I mean, you said it was Triple X. Apparently, I
That's
need
the
to go
name
to-
of their root beer, you moron.
Well, I mean, all you said was Guy Fieri, Triple X, and then diners, drive-ins, and dives. I'm thinking this is like
This is part of the podcast where we've completely derailed off the
about to say,
topic
man.
of bourbon. I'm sorry. We need to.
It's like
we need to
Alan
bring it in.
Bishop and the Bill Dundee back when we did the Spirits of French Liquid. It's like, dude, are we straight going like USWA?
Well, no.
That was a great episode, by the way.
It was a great
I
episode.
was
go back
laughing
and
my
listen to
ass
that
off when
one.
I was.
I'm getting ready to have Alan back on. We're gonna go over the history of Indiana distilling. That's gonna be one of our upcoming
That would be an
episodes.
amazing list.
would be
So
fun.
I'm excited to see because they've named a lot of their stuff after historical distillers in Indiana. So I'm kind of excited about that. And he also on random Saturdays will go to Spring Mill and they will show you how to make bourbon the old school way, like a mash bill and a common
they're having
pot.
They're having an
everything
event
else.
here soon about trying to actually make that a working distillery.
Yeah, so they've already got it approved now. So I mean
Oh, do
that'll
they?
that'll become a micro distillery in Spring Mill, and that'll be a totally different thing. But Alan's definitely doing some cool things. So Carl, you were the first one to take a big swig of this, and you gave the bottle a look, and then you kind of looked back at your glass. And so, what are you thinking about this one?
It has I reminisce of like a Canadian Crown or something like that I've had in the past.
Yep.
But completely different all at the same time.
Yeah,
It has a hint, like the very sweet taste, but then it just goes like pure vanilla, pure caramel to me. That's
Yeah.
what it tastes like to me.
yeah.
So
No, I'm right there with you. It's just it does. It's very reminiscent of like Crown or Canadian Mist or one of those Canadian whiskeys. It's just super sweet, super forward. You get a lot of vanilla, a little bit of caramel.
liquid candy.
Yeah, I mean it's like candy, and I mean it's 155.2. I mean,
It does not drink like that.
155.2.
What's it say on the bottle? Bottle exclusively for
This one was for the LBC, Louisville Bourbon Club, and
So
Frankfurt
it's-
Avenue Liquors. So
Truthfully, it drinks like a 101 to me.
That is actually a really great store, Frankfurt
says-
Avenue Liquors.
yeah, oh, dude, they have fantastic vintage bottles. You
Yeah.
can go in there and try, stuff from, like, one of my favorite things. They have a 1970 something Jack Daniels. It's in a 175 decanter. It's just the coolest thing, and I just love going. It's like $7 for a pour. I mean, you just can't beat some of the stuff that they have in there.
It's crazy to look at this
Finish
thing and
course.
see says distilled in 1995.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
No, that's
So
cool.
it's older than you.
It's
it
older
is
than you.
by a year.
It's the year I graduated high school. So
And then you got married the next year.
I got married the next year.
Wait,
There's a lot of
is that Seth
stories we need
Rogen
to
on the
hear now.
label?
It does have Seth
Yes,
Rogen.
it's-
Oh,
yeah,
It's
the-
Canadian
the-
whiskey, right? So
oh,
you got
that's-
to put a Canadian on there, right?
Eh.
Yeah.
Or
You got to put a Canadian on there,
God,
I think
how does
he
this
was
laugh go?
Canadian.
You could have put Will
I guess.
Ferrell.
I can't do the Seth Rogen laugh. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't. You got to have that stoner laugh.
Yes, it's like Wiz Khalifa.
My wife and I just watched Pineapple Express. You've never seen Pineapple Express before.
Really?
And so we watched that a couple weeks ago. And
Man,
it was just
That is a
all
great
these young
movie.
folks, man. I've seen anything.
Gonna
I'm
keep
a
my
movie
comments
buff.
to
I see
myself.
kind of stuff.
So Jared, you really had. So you need to get a Pearl Jam album, listen to 10, and then you have to watch. You have to watch Pulp Fiction.
In that order.
Yes, in that order.
Okay.
So Pearl Jam 10 is one
Hey,
of the best albums ever made.
Hey, if
Just trying to make sure I get the right order.
If we can get
And
your
then Pulp Fiction.
sister to watch Top Gun finally,
Hey, she started.
yeah, she
Top
did.
Gun,
Thank
the
God.
second Top Gun,
The
Pretty good
OG or
movie.
the first one?
The
No,
OG.
the OG.
She
Oh, the OG.
refused to watch it because it's one of my favorite movies.
Oh.
So she refused to watch it for the past 13 years of our.
I can
No.
see where that
Together.
would be the case. I would refuse a lot of things that I thought that you thought were good. You're like, Carl's got a really bad taste. I got that.
Yeah, I have a bad taste on a lot of things, but
Yeah. Bad taste. Have you ever
We've
seen
been
that
saying
movie?
that for years.
what?
Have you ever seen the movie Bad
Bad
Taste?
Taste, yeah.
That is the very first Peter Jackson movie
Oh.
that did the Lord of the Rings. It's a horror film.
That's
Oh,
when
see,
the
I would
the-
watch
Why?
that.
Crazy
Absolutely.
Australian
Well,
horror.
he got in trouble from the board because it was so gory,
Yes.
but it was so funny too.
Oh, dude,
at the
Bad
same
Taste
time.
is yes. It was just
Yes,
crazy.
I think it's actually in the Lord of the Rings special edition. They were
Yeah.
talking about Peter Jackson's background.
Yeah.
We're
It's-
getting off the rails here, but what's that new movie that just came out? I think it has the girl from Twilight in it, and
it has
apparently it's
Kristen
like
Stewart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
Okay.
you.
There's
and
one-
it's like really messed up. Like people walked out like 10 minutes into it.
Is it the David or not David? Yeah, David Cronenberg.
It's like super like
Viggo Mortensen's in it.
they mess with their skin or their
Yes.
physical features. Yeah, apparently
Yes.
it's like really messed up. Like how gore are we talking? Because apparently that's like really really fucked up.
Which David Cronenberg and Viggo Mortensen combo are amazing because they did Eastern Promises,
Right.
and they also did History of Violence. They're two of my favorite films, so I'm
Gotcha.
really looking forward to that
So
too.
the next time we get together, we're going to do movies.
Movie and Bourbon Night.
Movie and Bourbon
Yes,
Night.
please.
We're going
Hell
to talk
yeah.
about our favorite movies. Hopefully by then Jared's not a big pussy.
Oh,
and he's doing Pulp Fiction.
You're talking like 2010s for my favorite movies. So I'm
That's
just
okay,
kidding, but-
dude. I can hang in 2010.
I mean, there's a lot of good ones from that.
Yeah, The
that
Hangover
era.
was great.
So is this
you
going to
know?
be like a mystery science
Accepted?
theater?
Have you seen
Dude.
Accepted?
no shitty.
Oh
dude,
God!
You are like 6.
Dude, I am. I'm like a
swear to
toddler.
God.
You want me to
I
stick my
may have
arms
that
in my
DVD,
shirt and wave my
actually.
hands
I
around?
may
Such
have
a
that DVD.
millennial.
I'm like a
bitch.
toddler.
Oh,
man.
dude, I'm telling you.
Put a diaper on me.
Babies.
Change me. Put a fucking diaper
So
on
it's going
me.
to be a Mystery Science Theater 3000.
100%.
With bourbon.
We gotta
Oh.
teach this kid.
Well, this is my house
Somebody
is
make a
open
f-
to you, Scott.
Somebody
Mi
make a
casa
fucking
es su
list.
casa, huh?
Mi casa es su casa.
Listeners, make a list. Send it to Scott. Scott will send it to me, or we'll send it to Carl, who will send it to me, and then
Why are you fucking saying listeners like you were?
because apparently I'm
you're taking
I'm
over.
sick. I'm not.
We are on
taking
a
over.
podcast right now.
Just
So let's think
saying.
about that.
People are going to have opinions.
Yes.
and
They were
so,
definitely gonna
like,
have strong
tell me
opinions about this one.
100%. I'm 6.
Yeah.
Fucking A. Just treat me like I'm 6 and tell me what
So
to watch.
Jeff Hunt, which is one of my favorite listeners, he has his own podcast, but Jeff needs help. And then he also does a sports podcast. He's a big Ohio State guy.
I'm sorry.
I know. I do. I give him the same shit. I'm like, Jeff, I'm really sorry that you like OSU. And he's like, well, we beat Indiana the last 3 years. I'm like, shut up. I don't want to talk about that.
Well, I'm a
gonna
Miami
ignore that.
fan, so yeah, they can just go shut
Sucks
off.
to suck, right?
Yeah.
No, I understand.
Scott, the maple
Go
on
Cards.
this on an empty glass is just powerful.
It does. It comes back. It hits
It's
different.
so good.
So,
That's
Adding a little bit of water just completely changes the smell of this.
yeah,
Those
it
are
does.
you.
100%.
Yeah, I'm a need on this one as well. I mean, I've had it with water. I tell you what, though, I will tell you, if you do this one like in a rocks glass with a big, heavy, like clear iced rock, like, and just let it kind of mellow just for a minute or two, and then go at it, it's actually pretty good. It changes it up just again, gives you a little bit more of the mellow caramel that comes out of it and things like that. But it's definitely one of my favorite ones I've had in a while. It's like that one caught me off guard again.
Yeah. That one made
will
it
hit
a
you.
lot hotter in the back end
Yeah,
of this.
it's all
Just adding a couple drops.
Yep,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I'm definitely more neat.
Yeah, it's a lot warmer. It's a lot warmer in the
Yeah.
back of the throat.
Well, fellas, this has been fun. I really appreciate you guys having me out again. We need to do this again. Well, like I said, we're going to do movie night, and we're going to pop Jared's cherry on a few different movies. and
Goddamn right.
Give him an opportunity. Like this is
Take
the
my-
one time.
Never mind. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to.
Please don't. Yeah,
please don't.
that train of thought does
Yeah.
not
You
need
can
to be spoken. out
listeners,
loud.
you can take it.
That's
you can
right.
take it there.
Just take it from wherever. Yeah, Jared just needs to be quiet. I'm gonna turn his mic off. Just kidding. Anyway, so if you want to find Bourbon Barrel Talk, you know how to find us. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those good things. You can also make sure you hit the subscribe button, man. I really like seeing those episodes dropping immediately, things like that. I see it's funny, some people have it subscribed. Some people you'll see like they come in on Monday and they listen, and some people are listening on Sundays. It's just fun to watch the numbers go out the window. But hit the subscribe button. Make sure you get it as soon as it's downloaded. Make sure you have any questions. You send them in to bourbonbarreltalk@gmail.com. This is Scott, John, Carl, and Jared signing off. Peace out.
Deuces.